Pavlovsk is an orphanage for disabled children just outside of St. Petersburg, Russia, and is comprised of 4 different buildings. Buildings 1 through 3 house ambulatory but extremely disabled children. Building 4 is for non-ambulatory children. Most of the children in this orphanage have at least one parent who is still alive, but the parent or family does not have the means, time, or knowledge of how to care for them, so they were sent to Pavlovsk. Day and night, the children in Building 4 lay in cribs unless they are picked up to be changed or fed. Some of the children are so disabled that they cannot be taken out of their cribs. On my 3 mission trips to Russia, we were able to share Jesus' love the best way that we could, by holding them. There are never enough workers to give the kids the attention and love they need, so we tried to give them as much as we could in the short amount of time that we had. In buildings 1 through 3, there are on average about 2 workers per room. Each room usually has 10 to 15 children, so meals become an assembly line of shoveling food into their mouths as fast as possible. The workers are in no way trying to hurt the children. There is just simply not enough time. In one of the rooms, we were given the opportunity to feed the children, which was much harder emotionally than I thought it would be. The orphanage workers kept telling you to feed the kids faster, but my mindset was that each child should have time to enjoy one bite before being given another. Therefore, I was forced to find a medium between respecting the workers' policy and my own desire to give the child what I thought was best. Sonia is a beautiful 18-year-old girl living in Building 4 in Pavlovsk. She was born with a disease in which her head is the size of an adult's, but her body is as big as your hands. When she was born, her mom was told that she had died and the doctor sent her to Pavlovsk. A year and a half ago, her mom found out that Sonia is alive and now visits her every week. In this picture with my mom and in the picture with our interpreter Sasha, Sonia is 16 years old. Since she could not be picked up, we loved on her by singing to her and giving her attention. Though my mom could not hold her and explain to her how much Jesus loves her, I know that Sonia felt my mom's love just through a touch because individual attention is so rare in the orphanages. Since there are so few workers, the kids in Building 4 are rarely taken outside during the summer and therefore have very pale complexions. When we took them outside, we had to be sure they had on hats so that their heads would not get burned, and we kept them in the shade for the majority of the time. In this picture, Jane, Penny, and Vivian are about to take 3 of the kids outside to enjoy the fresh air. Outside, we would lay them down on blankets in the grass so that they could watch the sunlight dance on the leaves while we sang over them. I am so blessed to have been given the opportunity to pray for and sing over these beautiful children. With the kids who were disabled but ambulatory, we did activities in a Bible study. We gave out Jolly Ranchers knowing that the kids would save the wrapper to show us next time, took their picture with a Polaroid camera for them to decorate, made balloon animals for them, and much more. One of my favorite parts was singing praise songs with the kids. While our interpreter Mishka played the guitar, the kids would laugh and dance with us. We also took these kids on field trips to museums and zoos in St. Petersburg. Though they loved going to the museums and zoos and loved the ice cream and popcorn we would buy for them, their favorite part of the trip was the bus ride. In America, we hate to travel. We want to get to our destination as quickly as possible. Not these kids. Because they rarely get to ride in a vehicle of any type, the kids absolutely loved watching the other cars and people go by on the way into St. Petersburg. We had bought crafts to keep them occupied during the long ride, but we barely used them because they were so busy looking out the windows. One of the boys in this group is Boris. Though he is much smaller than me, he is only a year older than me. In the picture with my mom, Boris was 16 years old. In the picture with me, Boris was 19 years old. Every time I see him, his shoulder and arm muscles just keep getting bigger and bigger because he uses them to move himself around. As you can see in the picture, his legs are pretty much just bones, so he has to wheel himself around on a cart using just his own strength. Since he is too old to live in the orphanage now, he must make himself useful in order to stay, and to do that, he must be able to move quickly. Watching him move around on his cart with a big smile on his face was a huge reality check. This is Nikita. I met him on my second trip to Russia. We immediately connected, and he spent the majority of his time holding my hand and playing with me. When I had to leave, we both had tears running down our cheeks. I had never cried so hard in my life. I was finally able to return 2.5 years later, and when Nikita saw me, he screamed my name and came running into my arms. I was so amazed that he remembered my name and that he had missed me as much as I had missed him. I felt so loved. Ever since first going to Russia, the summer before my freshman year of high school, I have known that the Lord has called me to the disabled orphans of Russia. James 1:27 says that religion God our Father accepts as pure and holy is this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. Jesus' heart is for the downtrodden, the overlooked, and the hurt. What better place for my heart to be than in alignment with his own heart?